See, in the last few hours, and Nema Bebe and SC, I mean, huge ones in the transfer market, and especially on the front of Chelsea Football Club, Nema Kokoso. But I want to start it from this area, and I said, this is exactly what Todd Bowley and Baghdad Bali, and it clearly consults so many blue coat. Almost thought Chelsea Football Club. No, this has always been their vision. This has always been our vision. Vision and normal pay for the club and no normal second. This is what they wanted to do. Not the performance-based vision, not vision of saying oh, we be on this set last season and they were 12 the season before, but it's the vision of what they wanted to do. Man, you say what it say in the last few hours, a branch here, a friend Cole Palmer, and a contract extension now with Chelsea Football Club. Contract extension. Chelsea Football Club and a co-palmer and hi Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. So I want to subscribe to the channel now. Subscribe to the channel. Now turn it on notification. AOFI for all the analysis of all the clubs that you are going to get in the world. Menko Bebia. Make sure that you stick and stay in here and then you get the best in terms of football analysis. Turn on notification. Make sure that you share the link and then I'm sure also share the link now at group money baby then midasi. Password subscribe to the channel now Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Nema Baby, I don't know where to start from. Where do I start from? No, let's start from Nia Victor Oshimen, Nia Mikel Obi, any Abrantia friend, Didier Drogba, about Abrantia friend Victor Oshimen. Of course, in an Panamica, the conversation of Victor Osimhen to Chelsea, now about the waiting game. Because the waiting game, it is going to go to the last day of the season. And then demands you and all the Italian outlets. A reporter said Napoli Eddie another bid bread Chelsea for Abrante from Lukaku. This time it was a verbal verbal offer. And Chelsea and it was £25 million. And the bread Chelsea for Abrante from Lukaku. Chelsea, I clear on Romelu Lukaku, and he said one. The last time a call loan was last time again at AS Roma. Time not Inter for pen one Juve for Casombeton, Omenian because Juve for wanted to sell a branch of Dusan Vlahovic. They weren't able to let him go. Now there's a new coach at Juventus, Thiago Motta, Dusan Vlahovic, on pair. Strikers are almost that mobile. He won't Dusan Vlahovic because he can run into a lot of the space or very mobile. He's able to drop and combine and play more technical than a branch of Romelu Lukaku. Now there's a new manager at Napoli will be his friend Antonio Conte. Now people will ask themselves questions. I didn't see a Conte and Victor Osimhen na upper branch of Romelu Lukaku. One, it is because almost our relationship, that telepathic relationship, between manager and any player, and they've worked before. Time and Inter for edge almost death. It was a branch of your friend Antonio Conte and Romelu Lukaku was there as a top marksman for the team. And of course, at that time, they had to sell. Now, I say, Sunim Group, only International Milan, they had to make sales. And in that sales, Romelu Lukaku was one of the main people on the tournament at Chelsea. Of course, everybody know the story of Romelu Lukaku at Chelsea and the Thomas Tuchel, the things that were said inside interview, on this guy Italia for a year and how they didn't work. Romelu Lukaku, if with Chelsea, Ekoko Piemo, it didn't work at Tima, your friend, or go back to Inter Milan, and of course, Roma, it didn't work, and now Chelsea wants a resolution. Napoli for a deal worth 28 million. But Chelsea say they are not going to take it. They are waiting for Victor Osimhen. Now, Chelsea here, don't worry too much because trust me, the operational work I saw with your Fabrante and Victor Osimhen has been done. The only idea, and idea maturing baby, and I'll explain it again because I have Fiifi-Manfred on YouTube. Maybe I know first time about say won't say it. I'll explain to you again. Nitia deal no still like con horn. Nitia aye dinsa branch friend Victor Osimhen Chelsea NBA deal. See, Chelsea for the Babeto team. There is one thing that they wanted to do. I think I'm a friend of the performance-based wage structure. Into almost say, almost more Champions League. Almost more in the Club World Cup campaign. Even qualifying to play in the Champions League top 4 campaign, first season only 12, the next season remember be set. It's near Manchester and Farm. In 10 years, they would want to make sure say player be on best side. They give you one a long-term contract. Two, side contract was salary somewhere in the region of 12 million pounds per year or 10 million pounds per year and 50 million econ. They don't want to do the mistake on here now. If you go back and you've listened to the story of Barcelona and how they mismanaged funds under Laporte and Bartomeu and how they didn't do things well, it is because wages of the players almost have been very bad. In fact, one other Barca player is seeing play all Barcelona. There are a lot of issues with his wages, and then Liverpool was say almost winger. Almost DM, almost commanding Zubimendi say on Bamba Liverpool, and there's a possibility Liverpool can do a swap for Luis Diaz because Barca wants him. Any Abrante friend Frankie de Jong, but only team there because of the wage of Abrante friend Frankie de Jong. Frankie de Jong was taking less than 1 million euros time and off here as Amsterdam. Ako Barcelona. Barcelona for it to move almost times 20 million euros in Nigeria Barcelona. It is over last season. Time and Barca for air presented Frankie de Jong to go to Manchester United. Now Frankie said, own free Barca and come Manchester United. One of the things that he used against them and he said, Omuntia the wages no more during COVID, Nana Nieman Koye no mention. Omuntia man. And of course, Barca weren't able to foot those moments TSS can at that point in time. And Abrante friend Frankie de Jong is still on the Barcelona's book. Wages is an important thing. And it is the singular most important reason. Nobody has said Victor Osimhen nyari. Nobody has said Victor Osimhen doesn't fit how Enzo Maresca wants to play. See, I have seen Enzo Maresca use Jamie Vardy or Leicester City and Jamie Vardy. Jamie Vardy doesn't necessarily fit how the positional player wants to play with almost center forward. Even Joseph Guardiola now uses Erling Haaland. Haaland is a top center forward. Sometimes you want goals. Sometimes teams are pressure 1v1 aggressive. You want somebody that will win their individual duels and your battles. No? And Victor Osimhen is very physical, very aggressive, and he gives you almost everything. He's a fox in a box. Yes, the criticism of Victor Osimhen and Mekrampo Maccabi PNS, he hasn't scored more than 15 goals a season for more than 3 seasons of Nicaragua. And yes, the consistency, is questionable. But then again, how many goals had Haaland scored consistently from time that he was coming from the Scandinavian area through to Dortmund before about Manchester City? There is always a time where the data and correlative of where you want to go to, but then it gives you a semblance of what you are yet to see. So Osimhen is a top player. Osimhen is a player that creates a lot of XGs for himself. I think in Europe there is no striker available in terms of aerial threat. You see a Bobona Kobin. Obi Mbrifan team payment to Bokma or you're better than Abrante friend Victor Osimhen. Victor Osimhen is better than these guys. He has quality, he understands how the team want to play, he can fit into Enzo Maresca's system. Their problem, however, NSA, Victor Osimhen takes 12 million euros out of Napoli. Or convertible pounds, man. It's in the region of about 10.5 that are about 11 million euros, 11 million pounds. And Oko Chelsea, team numbers is here. Chelsea already has Abrante friend Romelu Lukaku, Bolingoli, who is taking around that range. There is Raheem Sterling around that range. It's over here. Anytime I would say, okay, Chelsea it is player unperforming and wage bill less and also. So you look at the story of Raheem Sterling in the last few days, you see, Juventus phone number before free Chelsea, Juve for so we can't buy the boy outright because of the wage in loan. Chelsea said for us some content because we are not entertaining any conversation about loan. Boy need to remember now. Yeah, salary man. When you pay just a chicken change of a loan fee, Lukaku takes £325,000 a week. That is insane money. Do the calculation times 4 for a month and do times 12 in a year. That is absurd money. Opa, take your calculator. Let's do the calculation ourselves. I see 325,000. That's 325,000. That's what he takes per week. So times 4 will make it 1.3 million just a month, and then we'll multiply it by 12. He's taking 15.6 million, almost 16 million pounds each week, and that is insane money on the books of Chelsea. Chelsea person will free on, and then anything that money Napoli or baby on one. Napoli soon is almost the same wage on Victor Osimhen one wage, so they want to take it off it. And Chelsea say almost pay Victor Osimhen. Napoli say almost pay Lukaku. Almost be personal terms. Lukaku ajiatum Napoli say or betting a salary na so. He is going to play for SSC Napoli. He will reduce his wage and play for Napoli because he doesn't see a future with Chelsea, and that has been sorted. And yet, it was under Thomas Tuchel and Obiaji to Muse Lukaku and Chelsea are getting a good, and there was no need to move on with it again. Let us move away from it. Let us focus on the new targets and the new players. It's my bem because I don't have here now. Can I say Chelsea based in there? Ain't me Abrante friend Victor Osimhen NBA personal terms for a lot of reasons. One. The reason is Whilst Lukaku doesn't have multiple shooters, Victor Osimhen has. Osimhen, viable shooters or Saudi Arabia. Lukaku was a shooters. Osimhen, viable shooters or Paris Saint-Germain. Paris Saint-Germain asked about the release clause. It was outrageous. And into Osimhen has that. Lukaku doesn't have that. There are a lot of shooters that only have Victor Osimhen come fan, including Arsenal Football Club. But there isn't saying for Lukaku into not in wage. And Osimhen in himself on your better. So and now in the evening, in a Neapolitan club, there was Victor Osimhen in a club and all relaxing with Napoli. There were some fans of Napoli who came out and they chanted at him, said, Master, why are this over for a club now? Now so that we can prepare for our season. And in all of those things, Victor Osimhen and there was a little altercation between himself and a fan no bias Adinitiano club hon. So Chelsea are only employing on Roberto Calanda. Any about fan Victor Osimhen say, come on, they can negotiate a fee with Napoli, buy him, and then make sure somebody wage in the then it is going to be at a level where they will now say, okay, perform here next season. We are going to give you a contract enhancement. You bet my Mosca, you bet my double salary number. But stands now. Roberto Carlos, that's why I catch Robia say, on only player, on not just a normal player, on not just a small package. He is a top and Pichichi winner 2 seasons ago, or the Napoli edge is Scudetto. And all of these things I know. My problem with Roberto Calanda is simple. And he said, just a couple of months ago, the latter part of 2023, Roberto Calanda left his native country, went to Italy, signed a contract extension with Aurelio De Laurentiis. That's the devil. See, some idea don't say too much. And Aurelio De Laurentiis is the devil. Or yes, someone in contract negotiations, OG agent fee, almost to Osimhen salary move, almost to the salary move. You have gone to make sure so you agree the release clause in there. You think that already the Laurentiis, a Kenyan Napoli, Ukraine, and Kepe Lukaku, and Antonio Conte Hanajia, like who don't even listen to Chelsea? In going to Chelsea as him cry, like Enka money to even listen to Chelsea at all. He wasn't never going to do that because he wanted it. And no man can come home. And then Abrantia, your friend John Mikel Obi, essay or no, any Abrantia, your friend Didier Drogba Tabiri have been speaking to Victor Osimhen. They have been clear. Oma catcher and say, "On man, dream Chelsea." So, and the boy has let them know, say, "On no Chelsea of and they are convincing him to come." So, Victor Osimhen be Chelsea team no. It is a solid side, trust me. It is a straight up top 4 team, especially if what we've read, what we've seen under Enzo Maresca from Leicester City, how we've seen teams, say control games. No, if we can see it on the field of player, then definitely we know, say, this team can go on and then do a lot of nice and crazy things and then going for top 4. I know say this deal will happen. I am very, very confident that it will happen. It will just happen late at the tail end of the last. Today is the I think about the 14th or 13th of August this year anyhow. And once we get to the end of the transfer window, I am very, very certain say that whole thing can be sorted out. And once it's sorted out now, everything is going to be fine. See, let's just wait to see how all of those ones get sorted in there with respect to where Osimhen is going to end up any signing. So 17 days not transfer window now ended. By the time I tell my 17 days, we know where our branch friend Victor Osimhen will come. And I know say a waiting game. Most of the transfers are Europe. Most of them are waiting games. Manuel Ugarte, so Obeko Manchester United and Arsenal. It's a waiting game. Manchester United knows that they've now Paris Saint-Germain enya 2 players on Pomenya Pacho, Omasanso enya João Neves. And I like what Paris Saint-Germain are here with recruitment now. Buying players are only young and they fit how they want to play, not just the Galacticos. No. And in getting all of these boys, no, himself Paris Saint-Germain will not need a branch of Fred Manuel Ugarte. Into almost trying, they are waiting to see if team my friend of Paris Saint-Germain will reduce their wages for Manuel Ugarte. And I said they will reduce their asking price for Manuel Ugarte. And I said they will still stand on it so that they know what to do. Same for Chelsea and Victor Osimhen. And he said Osimhen better Chelsea and I said but the big news, however, and he said Chelsea, I'm a contract extension to Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer contract extension. Now this is what I was telling you. Say when Todd Ball in a Baghdad Gbali at all club now, this is exactly what they wanted to do. The performance-based wage structure no more year. Now last season so Becca. Termina Cole Palmer joining Chelsea or joining Chelsea even when the season was almost started. In fact, it was one of the last players almost joining Chelsea. In fact, the last player, Chelsea first game against Liverpool, Cole Palmer movie, was subsequent games on a buy. and Mauricio Pochettino because your top player Biamana from Manchester City on the call share ball, and the boy seems to be very good. Now, because of Mauricio Pochettino's football number, transitional based football, and then when you're too stricter or restricting players to certain zones, City, Palmer had a lot of freedom. He thrived in that system. Now, last season, Oshimen more than 20 goals last season. What the assistant Nema become huge numbers in there. Chelsea, he was obviously Chelsea's best player last season. And Chelsea for plan no Ababe simple say Obo home more than you contract extension. Now, Nipa Bebre Chelsea for Nanka, my biggest worry, and they said this season. How is Cole Palmer going to fit into a positional play structure? No, they be a Fiifi-Manfred say too strict, and no coach just no restricts the players to certain zones any other day. How are they going to thrive? Now, so Enzo Maresca in the last few days, the last few interviews or year before the American tourney ever to an end, what he said was simple. Was holding Cole Palmer. We're coaching at the City Elite Developmental side anymore under 23. Now coaching, one of the things he knew about Cole Palmer, and they said, oh yeah, a little bit of a lot of freedom kakra. No any problem. He knows how to use the ball. You can give him a lot of freedom. He will give him the freedom. In the game against International Milan, Chelsea played in a diamond. And I like that bit about Enzo Maresca because what Chelsea said, on ye na against so about the game, with just inverting derby. It is about making sure that the team has a set way of playing based on opening to Nkwaku and Obama Cole Palmer that freedom. You are not worried, but Chelsea for say they have to reward Cole Palmer for Juma Waye. Into the contract and end in 2031. Chelsea are extended by 2 years. The boy also had to were extended by 2 years and Oma double the salary. This is the first time. Now Chelsea Eman is £75,000 per week. Chelsea Eman is Cole Palmer £150,000 per week with some bonuses. So Osimhen Achivia is going to go on. And I think that is the plan for Chelsea. Now Cole Palmer is in the wage bracket of Abrantia, your friend Enzo Fernandez is in the wage bracket of Moises Caicedo. He's in the wage bracket of all of these important players of Chelsea. And the McCann several times said, bar all of those players that were signed at Chelsea by the old regime, Rhys James energy the most amount of money. Lukaku new regime they're signing, Sterling new regime they're signing, West Ham new regime they're signing. But all of these players coming, Rhys James, Kwamponi new regime they're signing, Benjamin Chilwell, almost salary I can see. But after them, Enzo Fernandez, Moise Caicedo, Levi Cole, now Cole Palmer, Babekan was Abo Estina at the future Chelsea Football Club. And Omar catch the boy Estina, they've told everybody, they've shown it to everybody, said, so performances near ya. One of the players I'm about to say, or also cheating in air channel to give him a very good contract extension and to double his salary at Brantford friend Malo Gusto. Because last season, Chelsea believes that he was also very important to them. And they want to make sure say, the salary will ever quit him. These boys are all there in the performance-based wage structure to improve them, to give them more money, to show them that they are very important to the team and then get them to succeed. To 2033, Cole Palmer, I can't in 9 more years of Chelsea. That's a long time. But essentially, Chelsea protect your investment. Senebe anyame admochna se bibisi na so Cole Palmer ese obi diska kese ba beton Madrid bi ba sabi na bibisa. What Chelsea will do is that they have the bargaining power. They won't be in a rush to sell him. Then they will make sure they will sell him at a price that befits their evaluation, and then they will get enough money. Then go and reinvest that money into another player. And Chelsea, Cole Palmer, a contract extension, big one to 2033, and I think he deserves it. What it means is that these players are our team next season will be pushed to perform because team will qualify for Champions League. They get extra bonuses. They are going to get better salaries. They are going to get improved contracts or Chelsea Football Club. So all of them will be pushed to perform and make sure someone qualify for Champions League and Myanmar next season because the club hasn't been there in 2 years running and then you're good enough. They want to make sure they've qualified and then gone to the Champions League, which is very, very important for them. And see, contract extension is very important, especially Osha club beats Liverpool. About 3 of the most important players in Milano on contract ever near to an expiry. Obit is a Virgil van Dijk assistant now. The contract ever near to an expiry or extending the contract here. Mohamed Salah assistant now. The contract ever to a near expiry. No contract extension assistant now. Abrante's friend Trent Alexander-Arnold. I've seen pictures where somebody looking like Trent a media duty. So I don't know if he has signed a contract extension, but then he assistant now and signed a contract extension and you need it. I mean, in times I was signing for Abontenia, I don't know. One other thing that's important is to make sure you make sure that you safeguard your investment, you sign contract extension, you tie your important players down and make sure that they are there for the long term. And at Chelsea here with a branch for the Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer, also one of the things that they've done, and say now Enzo Fernandez, outright deputy captain of Chelsea Football Club. I mean, it's clear. With respect to transfer conversation about in the last few hours there is nothing still new on João Felix. Chelsea Akache Conor Gallagher say on returning to England. The flight back to the UK at 10 p.m. and then 7 p.m. Sorry, which is 6 p.m. Ghana time. Conor Gallagher will go back to the UK, and the Chelsea will find a resolution for the young man El Horum. As it stands now, still, and no dealer hangs with Abrantia Yefenu João Felix deal, no João Felix deal, and also he has to take a contract, he has to take a pay cut before the Chelsea beat him, and then of course 40 million Chelsea some peso Mutiano. Atletico say so I don't know how many 60 million. I doubt Chelsea will pay 60 million for João Felix. A very good player. I just don't think that he fits necessarily how Chelsea wants to play. Yes, he can. I mean, it's just my thought. But I think that Chelsea have the same formula. A lot of them in Abrante FN, João Felix, the catch and tease kind of football. He doesn't work very well off the ball, and that's something I'm not particularly enthused about. Of course, George Mendes is still our Englander. Also, basically the deal for João Felix to Chelsea, but one of them also Manuel Ugarte to Manchester United. George Mendes has told Manchester United, so Omoto because he knows that Paris Saint-Germain will lower their demands now that they've gotten Abrante FN, João Neves. No, Ugarte, I agree personal terms Manchester United long ago. PSG in himself a price now and a big issue, and the waiting game no on, like I've told you, there are a lot of waiting games all over the world in there. Of course, Tima Al Ittihad for said they are not going to sell Abrantia Yefeno N'Golo Conte. Atletico de Madrid have asked about him, and then of course Tima, the friend West Ham United have also asked about him. Abrantia Yefeno N'Golo Conte isn't forcing to leave Tima, a friend Al Ittihad, but they've all asked of him. They want to know if Abrantia Yefeno N'Golo Conte would want to join Tima, your friend Al Ittihad, or join any of the other teams in Europe. But as it stands now, N'Golo Conte isn't thinking of leaving. Of course, still, Mark Gray deal no to Newcastle United, no, a deal that possibly can send Abrante friend Nathaniel Chalobah to New Crystal Palace as well. But still, it's still pending, and we're waiting to see how that will go. Mark Gray, nobody has got the evaluation yet. If you want a superstar player, you need to pay superstar money, and that is what Steve Parish, the one of the directors of Team friend Crystal Palace, Air Catcher, Newcastle for said, have big money to get Abrantia, your friend Magoy. And the BBABC Fiifi-Manfred for the YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Bye bye.